Hey, guys, your boy, Mr. Luke Evan Brooks here, doing my first YouTube live. So, my first YouTube live, and I'm just chilling in here. And, the total I want to talk about is how do I get more business to my website? So, for the ones that don't know who I am, again, Luke Evan Brooks, my backstory is this. I have been in business for quite some time as far as just learning how to make the sale, how to get people to buy my product and actually go through it. Now, this started off with me working at Sears Roebuck, right? Sears Roebuck, selling lawnmowers and, fitness gear and stuff like that. And it was an art and style to it. And it made me get a rush because it depends on how you talk to a customer, and every customer is not the same. Moving on, went to work at AT&T, and that was really, really fun for me because I had a lot of people come through, and they were just like, this is pretty interesting. Now, for the guys who are actually tuning in now, please go ahead and like, or I won't say like yet because I want to prove to you what I'm talking about. Go ahead and hit the subscribe and notification button. You hit that subscribe and notification button, you'll be able to see everything that I do every time I upload it. And we're gonna be getting into it for a while here. I have a lot of stuff that's on my mind, but continuing on with that in mind, I dealt with car dealerships. I dealt with a lot of things. I got a business background. I went to North Carolina A&T State University for business and for marketing, two different degrees, and went ahead and got my MBA degree at Florida International University. Now, I'm going to tell you something, and I told one of the people that work with me because I am in the United States Navy, but I also run an online business at the same time, and you're probably trying to figure out how I do that. And I'm about to break it down. Just keep following me. So I told this guy this. It don't matter how much education you have as far as like I went to school, I got all these degrees, I got all this and that. I'm going to tell you something. The reason behind that, my thought process is this: you can have all those things on the wall, but don't know anything at all. Because I'm gonna tell you about school, and I'm not knocking school. If you want to get higher education, but with a purpose. Just don't get it because it's something nice to put on the wall. You need to have something that needs to be for us for the Navy. If you're going in a commissioning source, you have to have a 4-year degree. Okay. That's probably with most of the other branches as well, unless you go like LDO or something like that. But for me, I wanted to get it to start a business, and that's not the real reason to do it. What they teach you in school is not what they're going to teach you when you're talking about trying to do affiliate marketing or high end sales and things like that. That's something that you have to learn, out here in the streets, as I call it. Uh, I told the guy this: there's a lot of people who making way more money than us and did not complete school. Mark Zuckerberg, he did not complete Harvard, right? Bill Gates did not complete his college. Neither did Steve Jobs. But yet we know these guys' names. We buy their products. We use their products. I'm using a computer with Windows on it. I use Facebook. I use all those things, right? At the end of the day, you can go back and look at a lot of people making a lot of money. They don't finish their college. So don't let that be a discouragement. So, well, I got to get this. Because at the end of the day, when you're looking at it, we've been indoctrinated to work at a 9 to 5. Unless your parents had that business sense, that business savvy. My parents didn't have that. My parents told me this: get good grades. You get your good grades. You continue to work good in school. And then at the end of the day, you get a good job and go work for someone. That seems nice and stuff, but jobs do not have any loyalty to you, right? At the end of the day, you can end up not having a job, right? And it sucks. It truly, truly sucks. And no one's trying to be in that situation. I don't want to be in a situation. You don't want to be in that situation. So I'm telling you straight up, you don't want yourself to be caught up in any crap like that. Uh, so going on to what we're talking about here, a lot of folks are trying to figure out like, hey, can you tell me some more stuff about what are you doing to run a business online? I'll tell you exactly what I'm doing. I do affiliate marketing. I do high-end sales as well too. On top of that, I teach people how to do these things using software because you can't do this all by yourself. A lot of you might say, well, I can sit here at the computer and do this for 20 hours a day. That's not living. That sounds like suffering. And you don't want to be caught in that situation. But a lot of people trying to figure out, how do I get people to come to my product or to my website? And I'm going to break it down all tonight. The first thing you need to do is check out this book right here, Traffic Secret. It's a free book. I did a show on it actually today. Because I got to think, I make a lot of videos. So I actually did this today and I did a little insight on it. Now, from that period, when I made that video to now, I'm at 253 on a page, right? And I'm still getting through. And I was talking about YouTube here, as far as just talking about different ways to make things happen. Talk about Instagram, to talk about Google, talk about, Facebook. And I like YouTube because YouTube makes sense right here. You're talking about your thumbnails, you're talking about how all this thing goes. But before I jump to that, I don't want to be jumping around. What I will tell you this, honestly, when you're doing your things as far as just trying to get your product out here, a lot of you are using a lot of ad spending, right? Y'all buying a bunch of ads on Facebook. You're throwing the whole kitchen sink. You're throwing everything out there to actually get people to buy your product, or at least look at it. But then you go back, you look, you're like, well, no one came to it. It's a reason and rhyme to it, right? First off, if it's a product that you're not a celebrity or anything like that, no one is going to know you, right? No one's going to know you. And they're going to sit here and just be like, okay, who is this guy? Who is this woman? I have no idea who this person is. And at the end of the day, you get yourself in a situation where people don't want to talk to you because they don't know you. They don't know you. You have not built any type of rapport. You have to build a rapport. It's important to build a rapport with your audience. Luke, how do I do that? I would tell you how you do that. At the end of the day, when you're talking to people, you need to understand where they're coming from. You need to understand, like, hey, that person is suffering, right? They had gone through some situation that really you can't really comprehend. And I know that sounds crazy, but follow me on this. If you've been going through a situation, you've been getting laid off, you've seen family members get laid off, and at the end of the day, you're trying to get some type of sense of what you need to do, it's not going to look good. It's not going to look good at all. So I'm telling you right now, the best way to do this is to make sure that you're running something called rapport. Having a rapport with people is very important. You want to have a rapport. You want people to know who you are, where you're coming from. You don't want people to be thrown off and be like, I don't have no clue who he is. And that's the primary reason when people do that. And excuse me, guys, I'm just trying to get things processed through here. A lot of folks are hitting me up right now as we speak. So, guys, tune in. If you're here right now, guys, tune in. We're just going to get things running. And this is the first. I got the hiccups. I hate that too. This is our very first live YouTube channel as far as YouTube goes. Not a channel, but the video. But as I digress, you got to build a rapport. That's the first thing you got to do. When you get into these groups, according to Traffic Secrets, and this is true, you should be looking for groups that's got high numbers. So you can go in there, look at what people are posting, see what they're posting, get in there, and then, make comments, ask questions, make comments, make questions happen. You got to do it every day, but you should be posting at least, according to that book. Well, I take that back. You should be posting every day, but it depends on how many people you're in your group. If you're going to do something, you need to be able to have folks see you quite visibly, right? So if just say we get in ClickFunnels, and we get in ClickFunnels group, and I want to comment on 3 posts, right? 3 of the posts. that I can answer. I don't want to be saying some stupid stuff talking about, well, sounds good. Like, have some valuable content in there, and then throw your posts in that group. Something that's going to really reflect on getting people to follow you. Now, one strategy, if you can't figure out what to post, go into other groups and see what they're posting. Take that post that's getting a lot of traction in another group, draw from it, and then shoot it. I'm not telling you to copy it because it may not make any sense. But once you do that, and you do that quite often, you got to do it every day for a year. And y'all might say, that's too long. I'm talking about organic, right? I'm trying to help you out organically. Once you do that, people are going to start following because they're going to be trying to figure out what's going on. The second thing you need to do, you should not come off as a salesperson. You shouldn't come off as a salesperson who was just buy my product, buy my product, buy my product, buy my product. Because I'm going to tell you something. If you do that, people are just going to get turned off. I see this all the time when I'm doing my friend connector. I'm using friend connector and I'm promoting the product and just trying to get it out there where people can actually see what's going on. At the end of the day, when I'm doing my stuff and I add them on and I'm talking to them, I'm having a conversation, I'm not trying to sell you anything. If I'm trying to sell something on Facebook, something's wrong. You shouldn't be selling anything on Facebook. You can promote something that's free, like, hey, try my free course, try this and that. Do it that way. But never give it away, because if you do that on Facebook, Facebook is for socializing. Facebook should be for a social party, right? We're socializing, we're talking, we're networking. Let people know you by your Facebook profile. You know, offer them stuff. Hey, try my free course. Try this out. Blah, blah, blah. Hit this up. I got a free report. Try this free book out, man. This book is amazing, man. And this book is truly amazing. I've been going through it like a crazy person. So I'm telling you now, if you do this, you can't go wrong. Let's see. I'm just typing something in here, letting people know I am on live right now. Now, help me out, guys, if I'm doing something wrong, because this is my first live on YouTube. But I've seen it where people have came into my chat profile. Bitcoin. You need to buy Bitcoin. You're not identifying any type of problem that I have. What if I don't want Bitcoin? What if I am one of you? Man, you could tell who's the rookie and who is the pro. A pro would never just throw out buy my product, buy my product, buy my product. By how they doing things, how they correcting themselves, how they walking about, how they do their thing, they're not having that issue. They're not having no issue at all when it comes to making it happen, right? And you got to understand, you got to see where they're coming from. At the end of the day, they're not sitting here trying to just throw every product that they have out on the street. And you got to understand where the folks are coming from that you're talking to. You need to dive deep into their psyche, as I say, because they might be promoting a product, right? It's not the end of the world if they promote you shouldn't really talk about what you're doing. Then you might say, that sounds deceitful. That's not. What I'm coming off at is that you want to be able to come off as a person who's not just here for the sale, because you truly not just for the sale. You need to build a relationship with these customers. You want these customers to move through your value ladder. You want them to move through your value ladder, meaning that you got different products. You just don't want to show them, buy my book, and then it's like, I don't want it. Then what now, right? What if you sending people to your website using paid ads, for example, and every person that click on is $2? Okay, what if this book is just $1? Every time you get this book to someone, you lose $1. You're not even breaking even. You don't want to do that. So how do you correct something like that? You have something that's going to upsell, downsell, or one-time offer, and then a downsell. You got to get them through that. I study these things, going through ClickBank, going through ClickFunnels. You want to be able to show like, hey, this is the real deal. You want people to really jump on board and see what you're offering. But you don't sell. You don't sell on Facebook. What you do on Facebook is to build that rapport that we talked about. You build that rapport and you have people actually look at what you're doing. So, like for instance, right now I am posting my YouTube live, and I'm just telling people I'm on YouTube live. I'm not saying buy my product, or anything like that. I'm just letting people know I am on YouTube live, and people come on and they see what's going on. No big deal, no big fuss, right? The whole thing is that people who are looking to do affiliate marketing, people who are looking to do something to make money online, there's so many of these folks out here. You don't know who's right. You don't know who's wrong. You don't know someone that's trying to play you or whatnot. But what people do know is that they need help. If you never ran a business for yourself, and I'll tell you, I've been through that. Well, I never ran a business. My first business was MCA. That was the first thing. That was the Motor Club of America. You help people with roadside assistance. You sell them roadside assistance. That was the first thing I did. That's the only thing I knew when I started. So I can make money on my own. I went to school. I had that whole mentality. I'm smarter than you, which again, I don't care how many degrees you got on the wall. This don't have nothing to do with degrees. Now you go to seminars and things like that. You invest $30,000 or whatever you have to do. That's a different story. But what we're talking about is actually trying to scale your business, how to get more people into your funnel. A lot of people don't really understand how to do that. A lot of people get themselves confused. A lot of people will throw, again, everything out there. But when you build up that rapport, because that's the number one thing you got to have, when you build up that rapport carries a long way. You don't want folks to be upset. You don't want people to be confused, because if I don't know what I'm doing, if I'm trying to buy something from you and I don't know what I'm doing and you're not there to help me, I'm going to cancel. I see that all the time. I didn't understand that when I was with ClickFunnels. I'm still with ClickFunnels, but I didn't understand that at the beginning of that, when I was like, okay, I want people to check me out, and they buy it, and they right at that 14-day period, because it's a 14-day trial period, they'll drop me. And when they drop me, I'm just looking stupid. I said, I got all these people. I supposed to get $1,600, and that's another thing we're going to talk about when you're scaling your own business. Because when you're scaling other people's businesses, it doesn't help you out. It does not help you out. I am on live right now. Hello, guys. Check me out. And I should have this all prepped and done, but this was just a prompt too. I was supposed to do a live earlier, and well, I mean earlier, I mean like a couple of days ago, but I got caught up with some mess, trying to help out my staff members and stuff. Check me out on YouTube. We are live. And what I'm doing right now is distributing everything, because you want to build up a list. That's another thing. I'm on my Aweber account. I'm on my Aweber, and I'm building the blocks to my success. If you don't have an email list, that's another thing that's going to hurt your business. You want to be able to actually get people to buy from you. You got to be able to reach them on a constant basis. Now, I will tell you something. If you say, well, why do I need an email list? The reason being is that if you have an email list, you're able to do a lot of things. You'd be able to help a lot of people out in regards to your product that you're trying to offer. So if you got people who want to buy from you and they didn't buy that first time because they wanted to do their research, you got to have a landing page. And when you do that, when you have your landing page, at the end of the day, people are going to be like, okay, I'm just going to go to this guy's website and then see what he's talking about. So let's say, for instance, in this live, I dropped out a website, right? I put it on there, or a link to a website, and you look at it, and you're not an impulsive buyer, meaning that you just don't buy everything the first time you see it. You be like, well, let me look at it for a little bit, and then I get back with you, which is reasonable. Nothing's wrong with that. People do that. There's nothing wrong with you saying, well, I want to look before I buy something final. The thing is, you want those people who come to your site to opt in, so now you can give them more encouragement, or you can show them, you can educate them. I always try to educate people who's on my list. I try to educate them with free videos or free product demos, and I explain why this is valuable, what the features are, what can they do, what emotional pain point or high feeling that I can give people, because folks are going to buy in three categories. They're going to buy in anger, they're going to buy in happiness, or they're going to buy with logic. And let's say, for example, let's say anger, let's say weight loss. They say you seen a picture of yourself when you was in high school, or you seen people or whatever that are fit and stuff, and you're like 40 pounds overweight, and you're tired how you're living. You're tired of people talking about you. Your self-esteem is so messed up that you are willing to do anything, as ready to lose this weight. And something comes up and say, hey, this is a product that can help you lose weight in 3 months. Some people have lost between 40 and 50 pounds, or whatever it may be, right? And you're just tired. You're sitting there eating ice cream, just like Eddie Murphy was in Nutty Professor. And that guy got mad. His character, Professor Clump, got mad and said, yes, I can. Yes, I can. Because he was just tired, feeling sorry for himself. So he got mad. He got angry, right? So that's an emotional pain. When you're buying something for happiness, let's say you're at a high point, right? And you just want to remain there. Let's say you say, okay, for instance, if I get this is going to help me even better. People see the value of it, and they say, this is real good. Like, hey, I want to feel good. I want to help my family. They're not buying out of anger. They want to make sure they take care of people. Or they say, you know what? I feel relief thinking about not having to live check to check. This might be the opportunity for me. And then logical, you might look at everything and say, okay, if I don't do this, this is what's going to happen to me. If I do this, this is what's going to happen to me. If I'm going to buy something, I'm going to look at all the details, do a price comparison to everything. And not price shouldn't be your first thing as far as discouraging, right? Or as far as a determining factor. I learned that when I was buying my first car. Price should be like the sixth thing when you're looking at something. I'm looking at the safety of the car. I'm looking at the features of the car. I'm looking at like what is the review on the car based off previous owners or people saying about this car. And then, price, we'll look at that price later on, because if you're buying off price, you're doing the wrong thing. And a lot of people do that. A lot of you go out there and say, well, I don't know if I should get this course, but I really do want to increase my sales, because you're saying this is kind of expensive. You have to look at it as an investment on yourself. So we're going to finish typing this in here. 0303. And a lot of people don't do that. And it's sad, a lot of people think, well, I need to buy this, but they buy tennis shoes, they buy other crap, they buy food, they go out to eat and spend $500 a month on eating out, but they don't have enough food or enough money to invest into themselves that can really benefit them longer than eating at the Cheesecake Factory and McDonald's every day. And that's the truth. That we have people who do those things and they don't quite get it. They're like, I don't know why you're mad at me. This is why I'm mad at you. And you just tell them, like, this is what we got to do. And that's what you got to do with your customers. You got to be able to build that rapport, talk to them, hit emotional pain points, ask questions. Are you currently working? What made you quit your job? Are you married? Because people start talking. Now, I mentioned before, you don't want to be sitting here talking about what you do on Messenger. or whatever it is initially. Let them go to your link and see what you do because there's already there. If you already got a website set up, your website does the talking. You deflect it. I will tell you that if you deflect that conversation with, hey, what do you do? Because at the end of the day, you're trying to get much information from them, not the other way around. Because if you run and cross someone who's trying to make money online too, they're gonna try to top their shit over your shit. Right? I see that always. I see people trying to do that with me. Well, my stuff make this. I make such and such. And they show pictures of people's stats that they're not making. Because if you're telling me that you're making 6, 7 figures, but you're sitting here all night talking on a computer, I will hire people to do that for me. I'm just saying. I have people right now working for me and I make 6 figures. I'm not sitting here showing stats because at the end of the day, yes, you can make more money. You can make 6 figures working multiple jobs. But the thing is, the job that you're trying to show me or what you're trying to do or whatnot, is it really working? Because that's not that's not a prerequisite to be like, oh, I made it. I made it into the 2 comma club. That's not a prerequisite. A lot of people, I will tell you, there's people who are smart with their money. They're not sitting there flaunting it. They're not showing it. They're not doing all that stuff. Those people are living very regularly. They're wearing regular clothes every day. You would not know a millionaire if you seen one. That's how most of them are. The stuff that you see on TV is false. You don't see a whole bunch of people say, look at my money. You're only going to find a small percent. You're not going to see every single millionaire doing that stuff. And you shouldn't come off like that. You should be trying to get data from the person that you're potentially selling and just talk to them. Don't sit there and try to sell them. If you're going to sell your reputation to them. So when they see you, when you're talking, say, hey, did you check out my free video, my YouTube video? Did you get a chance to check my PDF absolutely free and use that as a lead magnet? A lot of you don't have lead magnets getting people into the door. People don't know you. Again, you got to have something juicy for them to look at. Hold on, guys. Click here to watch. So a lot of you just sit out there and go out with no common sense. I'm not trying to be facetious. I'm not trying to be, arrogant or anything, but a lot of people just go out there and they say, well, you know what? I'm just going to act a fool. I'm going to spam everything. I'm going to tell you something. If you spam your link into these groups, right? You spam them into, Facebook groups that you don't own. You spam it into different people. What they're going to do is block you. I know that sounds so mean, but I speak the truth. I don't mean to hurt you. I'm your friend. I want to be truthful with you. Because if people are just spamming you, imagine someone knocking on your door every day. They're doing one of these numbers every day. You gonna be like, you know what? You keep doing it, I'm gonna give you something to knock for. And you're gonna be like, uh-oh. And that's true. You don't want to be on that type of situation where you can't relate to the person that you're talking to. You want to be truthful, you want to be honest, you really want to help people, but be true about what you're doing. Like for me, if anything, I would turn my Facebook profile into a journey. So what we're doing now is truly a journey. And I'm giving teaching methods. I'm giving you stuff that can happen. And eventually we're going to start getting on the whiteboard. And I'm going to show you exactly everything that is taking place on how I'm doing this stuff, like play by play. A lot of folks will tell you that no, this don't work, things like that. You have to analyze that too. You have to look at who is actually telling you what's going to work and what's not going to work. Because if you let people tell you something's not going to work and they have no clue, of what they're talking about, you just got to be real. You're like, look, we really need to be real and talk about what we're doing here, because a lot of folks have no idea. They have no idea. And at the end of the day, they're not going to tell you that. They're just going to be like, oh, okay, I'm just going to say something. And you don't want that to happen. You don't want people to sit here and say you garbage, right? And I tell people who listen to the show, you know, you don't have to put up if anyone's telling you something that's not true about you. Everyone's got common sense. You got a brain. I got a brain. You don't have to sit here and tell people you got a brain. Everyone should already assume you got a brain. But if you got people telling you that your dreams are garbage, you should get better friends. You should be around better people. Because a lot of people got a lot of good ideas. The problem, what we have going on in this world, you got a lot of people who will sit there and tell you that, hey, it's not possible. You're not going to be able to make it happen or anything like that. And you have to get those things out of your mind because it does affect your business. At the end of the day, it affects your business because when you're trying to make a change in your lifestyle, in your business, like, hey, I want more sales. I want more people. I want more traffic. Because ultimately, we do want more sales. You don't want folks to sit here and tell you that, you know what, it's not going to work. You all right. You don't hear that. I wouldn't want to hear that because they don't know you. If you're passionate about something and you truly stay consistent, just like you want to lose weight, if you want to start an online business, wherever it may be, you're not going to let anyone stop you. You just not. You're just going to keep going and you go going and you're not going to let people tell you that, you know, I can't make it. I see too many people like that. I'm going to tell you my story. When I was about to go to college, North Carolina A&T State University, I was about to go there, right? So my friend's mom, and I won't put her name out or anything. This was like right around high school graduation, 2001, so long ago. And the whole thing was like, hey, what are you doing? What are you going to do? What are you going to do? Everyone's asking questions. What are you going to do? What are you going to do? What are you going to do? And my whole thing, like I told people, you know, I'm going to start my own, you know, not start my own line business. I'm going to go to college. And my friend's mom, it was like, you're not going anywhere. You're going to be right here with the rest of us. You're just going to be garbage. Now, I had a choice to make. I could have believed what she told me, or I could have just ignored. You know, I'm not going to cuss the lady out, but now I would cuss someone out for someone saying something like that because you don't know me. So I told my mom about it. My mom's like, that woman don't know anything, and you don't need to listen to her. Say, look at her life, and look at you, right? That mentality should tell you something. This person does not have anything going on in their life. And they're mad that you're doing something that their child's not doing. And the reason why their child's not doing that, because they didn't think far ahead. And you got to think far ahead. The whole strategy is to think far ahead so you're able to keep going forward and not let people tear you down. That's the same way with your business. What you're trying to do traffic wise is that you're trying to get more people to see what it is that makes your business run, whether it's weight loss, relationships, wherever it may be. You're just trying to keep going forward. If you're not doing that, then something is wrong. And you don't want to be that person where I don't know what's going on. You want to be the person that I have a solution to all the things that's going on. You don't want to be that one that's just sit around saying, I have no clue. Now, going back into traffic secrets, I want to make sure that everyone understands where we're coming from. But the traffic secrets, the thing about this book is that this book is not going to sit there and give you like the exact playbook of what needs to take place, right? Like, hey, you need to order this by clicking here, things like that. What this book is going to actually tell you is how the strategy is. You don't want the tactics, you want strategy, and strategy is long term. You want to think long term. You don't want to be thinking, well, short term, this is how I do. And the reason being, it's not that Russell was being funny, but you know the algorithm with YouTube, with Instagram, with Facebook. If you're promoting your business, you know they constantly change, right? In this book, they're talking about the Thanos snap. If you watch the Avengers, you know the analogy, right? Snap, half the world or half the universe is dead. Facebook has did that many times. Google has did that many times, and Instagram has did that many times. For me right now, I just got through the YouTube um, section, right? So I went through the YouTube section. I'm probably gonna read it one more time, but you definitely want to get into something like this and definitely want to follow through, because at the end of the day, they talk about Facebook. They talk about the actually are starting out. You do not need to have a bunch of money to start your business. What you do need to have, if you say, I don't have a lot of money, Luke, I can't afford to do all these things, but I want to do it. I just don't have the money. Don't give up. That's the number one thing you got to do, especially trying to start a business, right? Online or whatever it may be, affiliate marketing. What you got to do, you got to get smart. You got to get smart with these books. Now, I'll show you another book that I have too. I have 30 days. And 30 days gives you more of a framework of what people who already made it to the mountaintop are doing. So I follow Spencer Meckham in here because he has Build-A-Bird, and I follow him, and he gives the play down, and I actually implemented what he did, and it helped me out. And I was one of his students or whatnot. But you look at what you need. Like, hey, I want to get into drop shipping. I did a video about that. I want to get into selling stuff, brick and mortar or whatever it may be. You got to follow the people where you want to be, because if you don't do that at the end of the day, what's going to happen is that you're just going to stay right here. So let's say that you're trying to be like Tony Robbins, right? You want to be like him. Well, you gotta have to get close to him, right? You're gonna have to look at what is he doing. How did he get to point A, point B? For the people who say, I want to be like Arnold Schwarzenegger, right? And that's an old analogy. I want to be like Rock. Let's say current analogy. I want to be like The Rock. How did The Rock get from being, a college player playing football to being like the leading paid actor in Hollywood? Read this book. It took me roughly a week, and I still got about 50 or 70 pages to go right here. But it's a good book, and like I said, I marked it up. I've gone through some stuff. I went through some lessons. Like this one right here talks about the value ladder, right? Now here, it talks about how you might have to pay $3 per lead, right? And then you have a front end that it might be like a free lead magnet or something going in there. And I thank you. All right. You get them in there. You're shooting emails. You're hitting different types of emails. And then they buy something from you. And say you got a book funnel. You send them through a free book. Let's say like this book is a free book. One-time offer, two. And then a webinar. Webinars is where you're going to have to know how to do right. So he has the perfect webinar. And a lot of people don't jump on it. And I'm about to fixing to jump on it, because with the webinar portion, you're going for high ticket sales. You're going for something that's greater than $500. I would say lower than that. Anything over $300 is a high ticket. So you making short videos is not going to actually help that, right? You will have to get your presentation together. You have to get your notes together, and then you work it and you work it and you work it. Now, boiling back onto the business on how to get leads. Let's get down to the nitty gritty, because that's where y'all came here for. What you have to do is this. You got to pick one of those three or four, not all of them. Pick one. Go for one that you're good with. Whether it's Facebook pages with ads. I recommend not doing ads initially. If you're new to this, don't do ads if you don't know what you're doing, because you lose a lot of money. If you're good with Instagram, where you do your little lives or whatever, Twitter, YouTube is my thing. I love being on camera. I love talking on the camera. Initially I'm a little shy, but once I get going, it's hard for me to stop. And then you build on it, right? So then you look in those leading industries, because you got to invest. I will tell you, you will invest. Either you're going to invest in time, or you're going to invest in money, or you're going to do both. You need to look at the people who actually are at that platform or where you want to be. Say, hey, they got all these subscribers. They getting paid doing this. How do I get into a season or a coach like that, right? I need to get into a seat to be like that. With your content too, you need to get an email list. Get your email list going. Build an email list. Show people what you're doing. Don't be afraid because what people are looking for is that, are you consistent? Am I seeing your face often? Are you a real person? That's the real thing. Are you a real person? Are you one of these people? Look at me on this big book, because I see that all the time on Facebook, and you can agree with me on that. Give me a thumbs up if you agree with that. You see people on Facebook showing all these Lamborghinis and fancy houses and stuff, and what they're doing, they're renting it out. Most of those guys are renting it out because, again, that does not equate to wealth. I read a lot of Dave Ramsey books and stuff like that, and they talked about that, in one of the chapters, keeping up with the Joneses. And then you don't realize the Joneses are broke. Everything you see on TV that they have are broke. And I don't know, I might be dating myself. I'm 37, but if any of y'all remember Lifestyles of the Rich and Famous, Robin Leach, how he used to go to all these people's houses and they drink champagne, this and that. Come to find out, most of the people they own that stuff, people were broke. Because millionaires, and we got to think that way. We can't think, well, just six figures. It ain't good enough. You don't ever want to be complacent. You always want to be hungry. You want to have that mentality that I'm going to keep going no matter what. No matter what. If I got to drag myself out the bed 4 o'clock in the morning every day to make it happen, I am going to make it happen. Well, work don't start till 6. I don't care. My work starts at 4. You have to have that mentality. And a lot of people don't think like this. This book gives you ideas where you say, I got to keep driving. I got to keep driving. It doesn't make you wake up at 4 o'clock in the morning, but it does. For me, learning this stuff and implementing it is another strategy. So, guys, if you're getting people coming in there, you got to build that curiosity. If you're getting on platforms such as Facebook, build a business page, right? Say what it is, but necessarily you don't want people to go right to it directly necessarily. Now, if you tie this into YouTube, let's say I do too. I do YouTube and I do Facebook. If I tied it in the way I need to tie it in, at the end of the day, I would be like, all right, this is what we need to do. If you want to contact me directly, I will use a chat bot. Use a chat bot, because that chat bot on your Facebook, which I'm going to do a show in the future to show you how my chat bot works. It's going to do interactions. It's going to talk for you on your behalf because you already program it. And they have options. You select how many options you want to, you program it, and you get that person too. Because they might come to you and say, hey, I want to get this free course. I want to get a free book. And it answers all those questions for them. Now, it's a way for them to say, well, I want to talk to a human. And that's when you step in. But once you start getting that flow of business, it's going to be hard for you to just constant answer everyone. I get that every day on my profile. People contacting me, want to know more and more and more about what I do, what the business is, and things like that. And I show it on my profile. I say, have you checked my profile out? Because at the end of the day, you shouldn't sit there and be like, well, I sell software. Because if you have a business where you're doing something, you don't necessarily need to come out and say, I do this, because people have pre-notions. People have pre-notions like, oh, he's trying to sell me something. Because I heard it before. One guy started talking crazy to me. You're trying to sell me something. And I never mentioned anything about selling anything. Honestly, I'm just here to network. And that's what social networking is meant to be. They should not be, or you should not be, talking about your business on Facebook other than, here's my page. If they buy a product, go to my group. You should be showing people the results of what you're doing. You shouldn't be like, well, I have a software business. You need to find out if it fits one. Because for my business, if I have multiple products, I'm not going to throw every product. I remember that at AT&T. Go AT&T, people say, you need to go straight to the iPhone. I said, no, you don't need to go straight to the iPhone. You're crazy. What if a person don't want an iPhone? What people anti-iPhone? I don't like iPhone like that, but I do have an iPad, and that's just me. I just don't want to mess with the iPhone because it's locked down. That's why you can't do any type of apps outside of it. Android, you can just go get different type of apps. You didn't have to necessarily get the app from the App Store. You can't do that with an iPhone. You really can't do that with an iPad, but iPad is better for movies and things like that as far as making movies. That's what I primarily use it for. So the thing was that when we worked at AT&T, you have folks that come in and say, well, I want to buy a phone. I don't walk to the iPhone, and people are, why don't you do that? I said, because you got to listen. You need to listen. I'm telling, going back to what I learned at AT&T and at Sears, it was very basic. You talk to the people and say, tell me about your phone. And this applies. This is universal. This is universal. You just talk to them, tell me about your phone. Tell me what you liked about it and what you didn't like about it. So when you're talking to these people, say, tell me about your business. What do you like about, what you don't like about, what you wish you had, or what you wish that it could be doing, where you see yourself. Really go into, and as I did, I went into the points and then I used those, but yet you have not did it. What is stopping you? And then they're like, you're right. And that's how you use it. You use that information and say, well, I would just want to show you a free video that I made, and it gives you more detail of what I do, or actually what I'm in. And just let me know if you're interested or not. And then you just keep it pushing. But you don't really want to say, well, I sell software, or I do this and I do that. Your business page would do that for you. Your profile page should just show your lifestyle of every day. If you're doing lives, you're talking to people, and a lot of people are, well, I don't know if I should actually do this thing for do it for actually what do you call it, I do it for the subscribers or folks like that, because they kind of get scared. And you got to get out of your scared period, because at the end of the day, people are going to want to know where you're coming from, as far as a person who can actually be related to, someone who can actually sit here and talk and really make things happen. I tell people this because I really do care. I don't want people to be alarmed. At the end of the day, it's just you and what you want to have done in your life. There's a lot of people out there who sit here and they talk about what they would have did, what they should have did. You know those people. The question is, do you want to be those people? If you don't want to be those people, you have to think outside the box. You have to open up your mind. One of the things that took me to the next step, which I've still struggled with this, is to be open minded. Usually, it used to be where someone might have say something to me, and it might be constructive criticism, but in my mind, I would take it as a personal offense. I'd be like, "Why are you talking to me like that? Why is this going on like that?" And they're trying to help me out. And it took me a while to just say, you know what, Luke, you got to stop what you're doing. You got to actually open your mind. And a lot of people who have these businesses who feel like they're failing, it's not because, you know, customers hate you and think they might not even know you. The thing is that, have you tried everything that's logical? And I know a lot of people are like, what do you mean, Luke? Have you tried the logical step? Did you sit back and say, let me think about what I'm doing wrong here? Did I at least pick up Traffic Secrets? Did I at least pick up 30 days to see someone who's related to me? Did I pick up .com Secrets? Because you got to educate yourself to a certain extent. You can have all the people sit out here and give you all the stuff that's going on, but at the end of the day, you have to educate yourself. And in order to educate yourself, you got to follow those trends. Just like entrepreneurs, just like the person who created Amazon, just like the person who created YouTube, Instagram, MySpace. They just didn't sit there and say, well, I'm a failure. No, they stay innovative. They didn't let little things get in their way. Getting those leads are not hard. As a matter of fact, leads can be very easy if you really, really want to strive for it. But you have, and I will tell you this too, build those relations, whether it's on Facebook, whether it's on YouTube, wherever it may be, you can still build relations with people. And as you build those relations, you'll see over time that it works, but you got to stay consistent. You can't be like, well, I'm going to do this for a couple of days and quit. That's not how that's going to work, especially if you're brand new. You definitely want to have this going on right. This is very important. For me, starting off as an online entrepreneur, I went through some up and downs. I went through up and downs. I went through bad mentors. I went through a point where I almost lost all my money. I lost all my money almost. I almost went into major debt because I was following one company. But did that tell me, well, I'm just not going to do, I'm just going to just work this 9 to 5 the rest of my life? No. And I'm not working tonight. I'm doing an online business and I'm in the Navy. But at the end of the day, I told myself, we're not stopping for no one. You're gonna have hiccups, but you just got to get yourself hip to what's going on. And I like Russell Brunson's books because at the end of the day, he's really trying to help. He's really trying to tell you his story of how he got to one point to another, and really bringing in all these experts that really get you in the right mindset. So don't be afraid to step out into a new avenue. I will tell you this because just trying to get the wheels turning, you can get blown out. You can get blown out. I'm telling you right now, I see too many people getting blown out because at the end of the day, they just decided to just give up. And that's not us. As an entrepreneur, you can't give up. If you're giving up, give up for a right reason. Don't give up for the wrong reason. Give up for the right reason. As far as like next couple of months down the line, I will get on the board. I'm gonna start showing you exactly what I'm doing and really get y'all going. But I wanted to do a live and just really talk to you, just to recap on 30 days and traffic secrets. Now, if you are serious about actually checking out the books are down below in the link below. These are, well, Traffic Secrets, a free book, and 30 days they have a price list. I'm gonna do another review on it because it's really revelation. To me, I think it really changed my life. And I'm not gonna sit there and say it changed my life where I just walking on water, but as far as changing how I think about things, and for me, I look at it as if you do this the right way, you didn't do your best because this is everything that you need to do. Give up, try to see your dream come true. I don't want you to feel like you can't make this happen because I think a lot of, and I don't want you to feel like that. I really think that you actually need to reset the whole process. And when I say set the process, I'm talking about the process inside your mind because that's a behavior that you learn. You know, behaviors like that are really designed for people who just like, you know what, on top of that, I've been around people like that. I've been around people who just gave up. They gave up because they were scared. You know, I don't want you to feel scared. I want you to be willing to open up and really, really take it to the next level. And I'm talking to you from a standpoint of being in the military, growing up. Actually, look at who are the people you're trying to go for, because at the end of the day, if you don't get the right people, then it's just a total bust. And you don't want to have that as a total bust. You want it to be where you have mapped everything out. You have tried all the strategies. You looked at the strategies that have been listed by people who know what they're talking about, and you've got a plan that's going forward. When you do those things, you're able to really, really get your message across. I hope that everyone's all right. Check out the videos that we have listed down on this channel, and I will catch up with you on the other side. Take care.